So, today we're going to dive into the incredible wisdom of Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And look, this is so much more than just a book. It's a powerful testament to the human spirit, a philosophy that was literally forged in the fires of a Nazi concentration camp.
Let's start with what might be Frankl's most profound observation from his time in the camps. He noticed something incredible. It wasn't always the physically strongest who survived. It was the ones who had a reason to keep going. A future to live for, a loved one to see again, or some important work they felt they had to finish. Their will to meaning was, quite literally, a lifeline.
And that observation, right there, leads to the central question of his entire life's work. What was it? What was this force that could make the difference between life and death in the most horrific place on Earth? And if it worked there, what can it teach us about our own lives?
You've got to understand, Frankl's ideas weren't born in some quiet university library. They were tested in the ultimate laboratory of human suffering. The camp stripped everything away, your name, your possessions, your dignity. It was here, at the absolute rock bottom of existence, that he saw the raw power of meaning firsthand.
So out of all this horror, what does he do? He builds a whole new school of psychotherapy called logotherapy. Logos is just Greek for meaning, and that's the whole idea right there. He believed our main drive as human beings isn't for pleasure, and it's not for power, it's for purpose. It's about finding a reason to get out of bed in the morning. Now, this idea of a will to meaning, it was pretty radical at the time. It went right up against some of the biggest names in psychology, like Freud and Adler. Frankl was saying they were missing the point, that our deepest human drive is for something much more profound.
See, the prevailing view back then was that we're basically just products of our biology and our environment. But Frankl, he said, no, wait a minute. He argued that we've been given this incredible gift, the freedom to choose our attitude, to choose our response no matter what the situation is. That little space between what happens to us and how we react, that's where our power is.
And for Frankl, this wasn't just some academic debate. This was serious. He believed that the idea that life is meaningless, what we call nihilism, had devastating, real-world consequences. If you teach people that they have no freedom and no responsibility, he argued, you pave the way for unimaginable horror. Okay, this next idea is what he called his Copernican turn, and honestly, it's a total game changer. He takes the one question we all ask ourselves about life's meaning, and he completely flips it on its head.
Think about it. How often do we ask this, right? What's in it for me? What am I getting out of life? We kind of feel like life owes us something, like happiness or fulfillment. But Frankl saw this as a recipe for disaster because it puts us in a passive role.
And here's where Frankl just turns everything upside down. He says, nope, you've got it backward. The real question isn't what we expect from life. The real question is what life expects from us. Every single day, every single moment, life is asking us questions.
And that's where this idea of being responsible comes in. But don't think of it as blame. Think of it as response-able, our ability to respond. We answer life's questions not with words, but with our actions, with the very way we choose to live our lives.
Okay, so if life is asking us questions, how in the world do we answer? Well, Frankl didn't leave us hanging. He laid out 3 clear paths, 3 ways we can find meaning in our lives.
First up, there are creative values. This is about what you give to the world, doing a deed, creating something. And it doesn't have to be some grand masterpiece. It can be as simple as raising a family or doing your job well. Second, there are experiential values. This is about what you take from the world, experiencing beauty in nature or the love you feel for another person. And then there's the third one, and this might be the most powerful of all, attitudinal values. This is the meaning we can find in the face of suffering we can't change. This last one, finding meaning in suffering, is so profound. And this story from Frankl's own practice just hits it home perfectly. Suddenly, the doctor's pain wasn't meaningless anymore. His suffering became a sacrifice, an act of love. He was bearing this grief for her. That's the power of changing your attitude. It can turn a tragedy into a triumph of the human spirit. So let's bring this all together, because this leads to Frankl's core message, the one thing that no circumstance, no matter how terrible, can ever take away from you. It's about your ultimate freedom. Frankl totally reframed what freedom is. He said real freedom isn't freedom from things, from hardship, from pain, from difficult circumstances. Real freedom is the freedom to choose your stand, the freedom to decide how you're going to respond to it all. And he saw the proof of this every single day. You had two people, right, facing the exact same unimaginable situation. One would become cruel, turning into an animal, and the other would become a virtual saint, sharing their last piece of bread. The situation was identical, but their inner choice made all the difference in the world.
So where does that leave us? How do we find our unique purpose? Frankl, quoting the poet Goethe, had a simple answer. You don't find it by staring at the clouds. You find it in the demands of the day. Your duty, your meaning, is found in how you respond to the small tasks life puts in front of you, moment by moment.
So Frankl's wisdom really leaves us with this one powerful challenge. Meaning isn't something you find, it's something you create with every choice you make. Life isn't something that just happens to you, it's a conversation. And right now, in this very moment, it's asking you a question. The only thing that matters is, how are you going to answer?